Alrighty. We're back in the Mazdarati. And I was thinking, since I've been driving this car for almost a year about, I'd make a video about what it's like, the impressions I've got from it, what I like and don't like about the car after a year's worth of driving. And so, while we're on this ghetto road, my road, I just want to get into the first thing. I think this is just the problem of worn out struts, but if you listen, that like knocking sound, I'm pretty sure it's the struts are shot and need to be replaced, but that noise is so annoying. Anyway, that's like the main thing I don't like about this car, but it can be fixed, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. Another thing that I don't really like, I'd probably have to say, is when you're in higher RPMs, say like 5 grand, 6 grand, almost 12 grand, you start hearing buzzing. Oh. Anyway, you start to hear buzzing from your e-brake button and your glove box. Now, it doesn't do this all the time, usually when it's a little bit colder. Once you start driving it a bit, it's usually not as noticeable, or if you have like music playing, you can't hear it at all. But that's probably the second thing I don't like about this car. The third thing I don't like about this car is front wheel drive. I mean, if this car were rear wheel drive, I'd be living, first of all. Second of all, I'd be drifting. And third of all, I think it would be a lot more popular car because it's not very expensive to own one. I'm 17 and I can afford it, and that's just from working at DQ. Another thing I don't like about the car is probably the back end, the back bumper. The bumper, I think Mazda could have designed it a little better, because as the car is stock, it looks like lower to the ground and just more sporty, but then if you look at the back bumper, it's just kind of raised up. And I know I've heard other people complaining about that, like how it could make the car look a lot better if that bumper was a little lower, I guess, or just, I don't know, just that bumper. I mean, it still looks good, don't get me wrong, but I just think it could look better. I'd say those are probably about the 5 things I can think of that kind of suck about the Mazdaspeed 3, being the rear struts. And also I heard the suspension is, I talked to another Mazda owner, the suspension is kind of stiff on the Gen 1s, first gens, and I guess that's just how they are. But anyway, so the 5 things I guess you could get out of that, or the suspension isn't that, it's kind of stiff, and plus my car's lowered. But anyway, suspension is kind of stiff, that strut knocks, probably just shot, vibrating in the cabin, or driver's seat, you can hear it, I guess, the e-brake and glove box vibrating. 4th is that it's front wheel drive, and 5th, I guess, the bumper. Now getting into the things that are sweet about this car, and I think they compensate for the things that are kind of a little bit annoying about the car, but you get over those. So the things that are amazing about this car is it's really fun to drive. If you just step on the gas, it'll just pull. It's amazing. It sounds really good. Especially if you get a blow-off valve on there, it'll just... Second of all, the interior is really nice. It looks really sporty. You can see these seats. The seats are really nice. Mazda did a great job. designing the interior of this car, from the steering wheel to the seats to the carpets on the ground to just the whole interior is nice and has a sporty and kind of like quick feel to it, I guess you could say. Just by looking at the interior, you know this car's now playing. She's packing some heat. She's packing some heat and she ain't messing around. Also, another thing that's really nice about this car is obviously it's got aux. The stereo system is, I would say, is pretty sweet, but the sound is clear, the bass is booming, and business is booming. Another thing that's great about this car is, I would have to say it's pretty spacious. I mean, it is a smaller car, but there's still room. If you lower those back seats, I go snowboarding, you lower those back seats, you have so much room to put whatever you want in there. And even sitting in the back seats with me in my regular length, just chilling, I'm comfortable. Passengers still have room back there. So, I mean, if you're thinking about it's a small car, I would say it's not that small. It looks small, but I would say it's still pretty spacious. It's a hatchback, so there's gonna be room. Another thing I heard people talking about is turbo lag. This car has turbo lag, obviously, as all turbo cars do. If you're in second gear, and not really that much. Third gear, around $3,000, $3.5 grand, you feel the turbo kick in big time. I mean, when you're just slowly gassing it, it picks up slowly, and then $3.5 grand up to $6 grand, you're booking it, you're smashing those gears. And then I heard people talking about torque steer, and I don't think that's a big thing at all. I've never had anything with torque steer other than like oversteer. If you want to see more in depth what I was talking about the interior wise, I have a review I did on the Mazda, so I will put a link down in the description. I guess that will conclude today's video. Stay posted for more content about the Speed 3. Gonna have some new modifications coming soon, so if you want to see those being done, keep up with the channel, like, comment, and if you feel the urge to subscribe, I'm not going to tell you to subscribe, but if you feel the urge to subscribe, you can go right ahead. Oh, here's another SiiCK Subaru. That concludes the video. I gotta go catch up to the Subaru. Peace out.